I used to work in the kitchens as a chef for about 16 years. And in kitchens, there are interns, apprentices. They want to come into the restaurant and get a job, and maybe they're at culinary school. But the thing is with interns is that if it leads to a job, if it leads to staying as an intern, it's all about humility. And what you become is how you relate in being humble in relation to other people with more experience. And this is also a play from the stationary staff, the employed chefs that work in the kitchen as well, because they are also humble as to get some new ideas, some fresh ideas from somebody coming as an intern as well. So it's all about humility, ping pong. But the worst kind of intern that won't get booked anymore, that will not be a part of receiving, is the intern that knows it all and says yes to everything, as in, yeah, I got that. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know. But more in a sense of they don't want to look stupid. They don't want to look stupid, and they don't want to be the one not knowing, which is the most stupid thing ever. If you're so afraid of a bit of shame or humiliation in that perspective, it is the essence of idiocracy not to become just a little bit humble as to actually learn something because you don't know. It's like I have talked to young people. Like, I have 2 kids. I have been a father with all of these responsibilities and everything to the best of my ability. I'm not perfect, but for a number of years. And I've talked to young people about family life and how it is with kids and with work and everything, and getting everything to function. And maybe these young people I talk to are 21, but they know. They know about having kids. They know about all of this, getting the work, the home, the finances, the racing, the emotions, the pressure. They know. That's lack of humility. And that's also the intern in the kitchen. Lack of humility. But also in fear of being humiliated in relation to actually saying that I don't know. Please teach me. Please show me. Show me. Teach me. And I've worked with people, adults, older than me. Age doesn't matter. But in some sense, development is supposed to happen. Evolution unfolding in your life somewhere. And I've talked to people as in teaching them about life from my experience, because I have a lot of experience and I have a lot of knowledge, which is not theoretical only, it's just a small part of it. the biggest part is that I have emotional experience because I've been through stuff myself. So I actually know what I'm talking about. And these people are also just the same. Like, yeah, I know. But then their life is in shatters. Their life is nothing. They don't have connection with their emotions. They are on drugs. They are neglecting their home. The receipt of life, the reflection coming from their projection is obvious. But they lie. And they do not want to look stupid. And why is this? Why are people engaging in this type of behavior? It's ego identification. Because if you are a soul identified being, then you're open, because you don't judge yourself and you don't take yourself so seriously, and you don't focus on being what you are doing. You know you are, is, you know soul, you know God, you know source, you know that you are God, you know that you are source, you know that here is who you is. And then you do a bunch of stuff, which is never perfect. It's just, we learn, we make mistakes, and then we develop, and we unfold, and we evolve, and we become. And that's what you're looking for. That's what everybody's looking for. It doesn't matter if you're working in a car shop or in a restaurant or at an accountant's office even. It's all about humility as to what am I missing and what can I learn more as to become more of who I am. This is who I am. This is what I do. And this is the ego. This is the soul. And some might think that, yeah, well, it's not such a big deal. It's just an intern in a kitchen and they will, yeah, but then you have the war in Israel where they shoot kids in the head. That's an intern. That's an intern that is participating or supposed to be participating in life, but they're not, because they refuse to be humble before God, but actually kill in the name of God, because they are complete idiots, refusing to be humble, to be a little bit humiliated, as to say that we don't know shit. We don't know shit. That's why we fight. The fighter, the assault, the abuse is always about love. It's always about truth. It's always about being grateful and humble before God. God is love. That's the problem. And you will not be humble before God if you don't know yourself. Because if you are identified with the rational thinking mind as being who you are, as in what you're doing, that means you have to kill yourself. Because you cannot let that go, because where are you gonna go and who are you gonna become? You are nothing without yourself. So if this is the only part of who you are, as in your perception, then you will kill opposition in assaulting and trying to dismantle that negative false perception. but that is really a projection reflection telling you that you are supposed to let this go and come to God and realize that this is who you are, and then the fight is over. So that's why religion is poison, because people make religion into God, which religion is not God. You can use religion. Religion is supposed to be used as a vehicle coming to God if you can understand metaphors and relate it back to you as a human being, having a human experience, striving to be compassionate and with a good sense of moral in relation to maturity, which involves sex, and separating sex from love completely, and coming to an understanding that you're not finished and we are not in competition. If you define yourself as something, whatever, super strong, it's a rigid, mental, logical, rational construct. And if that concept is diverting from everybody else, then we inevitably have competition amongst ourselves. So that's why it's so important to identify yourself correctly. You are soul. You are a soul being, a spiritual being. Then you have a body, and that body can be male or female. Some are hermaphrodites, but mainly you are a male or a female born. If you do some surgical interventions, alternate your body in your physicality, for instance, born a man trying to look like a woman, you're still a man. You will forever be a man until you die. And the same goes for a woman trying to look like a man. You will not be able to fool nature. Nature, God, love, source, universe is one and the same. And that is soul, because that's the definition of created in the image of God. That's who you is. You are a soul, an eternal being. And that is what you are supposed to identify with. Then you have the body, then you have the mind, then you have thoughts, then you have feelings, then you have emotions. All of that is what you have, but it will never be what you is. The intern is just an expression communicating the same thing in the periphery regarding various concepts of employment, for instance. But the real message is always about the core. If you want life to be as good as possible, you need to be true to your core, not to the periphery. If you're true to the periphery, then you will create some form of disharmony, unbalanced. The core is the core. So being true to the core, honoring the core, acknowledging the core, affirming the core. I am love, I am light, I am truth. If you do that, you are just being true to self. Self is God. Created in the image of God is soul, which is like a part of the same thing. So God is not such a big deal. The big deal is you, your life, and what you do with it. And you cannot become what you are supposed to in relation to purpose and destiny if you don't affirm yourself. So you need to affirm yourself. as truthfully and honestly, in all humility and compassion as you possibly can, which makes for loyalty, because you cannot do that in lies. And lying is also judgment. And judgment is justification, excuses, which is also the intern saying, I know everything. I don't need to be taught. Don't show me. I got this. And that requires humility, as to drop all justifications, judging, and the lie that you did not know, to actually receive what you need as to become. And then you become. What do you become? You become a star? Yeah, you are a star. You can feel like a star as you affirm yourself to be a star. Does a star carry guns? Like, yeah, I'm a star. No. A star is just a soul being affirming itself in compassion and humility, being loyal to love, being loyal to self, creating a circle of life within, where humility and gratitude makes for that circle that holds all of the positive aspects of one human being, which consists of 12 gross personality traits, which is also a metaphor in the Bible, for instance, with the 12 disciples. But this is not just in the Bible. This is in many religions across the world. Jesus Christ, Christ consciousness, is what you are. That's what all of us is. That's why Jesus is pointing at the heart, having an open chest with the heart. Or like Hanuman in Hindu with the open chest. And then you have Sita and Ram. And Sita is the right hemisphere of the brain, which is the feminine. Ram is the left, which is the masculine. And you are the promised child. That's who you are. And what level you are. Because how can we all be a star? How can we all be Christ consciousness? How can we all be God? Because it depends on your level of incarnation and your purpose and your destiny. So that places you in a perfect position in relation to what you are ready for. And what you are ready for is actually your contribution, as this is your development, which becomes a source of inspiration and influence in the world as to make the world better, placing you where you are needed in the world, actually. So it's not a form of hierarchy as to other people being submissive in relation to. There is no submission. The only submission existing in somebody's reality is actually jealousy. Because in a world of contrasts, with darkness and light, in perfect balance, there is fear and love, and there's jealousy and there's inspiration. That's all there is. So if you feel like you're jealous and you're having conflicting feelings in regards to another human being, that means that you are jealous, because they are having some form of development and aspect in relation to themselves that you are missing. So how can you be inspired? by that other being. So if you look at the war in Gaza, where people are people of God, in the name of God, which are people that are supposed to be humble, which is compassion, love, understanding, and actually constructive, that shoots a kid in the head. That's like the ultimate jealousy, in a sense. Holding on to a fortress, holding on to an ideal, holding on to anything is just a immature refusal to accept evolution and development, which happens inevitably as nature happens, life happens. If you refuse that, you create tension as you're going against the flow of energy that is ever expanding. And war is created. And that war can be created between two people, two neighbors, and it can be between two countries. So what can make a difference between the two neighbors? It is actually to come to the realization how much alike we are, and maybe we are the best of partners, and then we can heal together as to inspire each other. In all humility, listen to each other's story and actually learn more about ourselves. And then we will cook something fantastic together, which is also a metaphor. It doesn't have to be in the kitchen. You see, art is the most important thing on earth because it teaches us metaphors. Metaphorically, which is abstract, which is emotions and color, which is not just rational box thinking, holding on ideologies, because that's killing. That's killing everything. The other one is giving, because it's giving thanks, it's being humble, it's being grateful, so it gives more, it presents more, it opens up to other possibilities, not holding yourself stuck in history regarding some trivial shit from the beginning, which is a mosquito, and that mosquito over time becomes a dragon. And when that dragon is a reality, then kids get shot in the head. But from the beginning, it was a mosquito. But then it was tremendous investment in the rational mind, the ego, coming as far away from self-realization, which is that you are a soul being, pure conscious love, unconditional, not judging, freeing, accepting, loving, moral, balanced. And here we are today, in the dark ages, even though the sky is blue and the sun is shining, because of immature behavior. The intern can become the restaurant owner. I have seen this happen actually, and it's beautiful because there is humility there. There is a willingness to be interested as to learn, which is natural and a given and just happens if you're not so stubborn in having an ego identification, which makes for being afraid of being humiliated, to feel a bit ashamed sometimes as you do a bit of trying. Never wrong, never failing, just finding, trying, testing. The real fear in every human being is fear of self. Everybody is afraid of being themselves. Not everybody, but most. And that creates all the conflict in lack of humility, because instead of looking at what you are doing yourself, you project that onto others and say that this is the blame. The society, the politicians, everything. But it's really you not being brave as to just be yourself. And if that requires you to be completely honest in relation to what you feel sexually, as in what you prefer and what you are attracted to, then do that. Just do that. Because otherwise it becomes so extremely destructive. It becomes the most destructive of all. Because the energy is one energy. You have one energy to manifest. And that energy comes from the root. And that root also holds the primal. And that's a very strong energy. The energy you have that you use to brush your teeth with is the same energy that you use as to create a company or whatever. You don't have different energies. You have one energy. And it's how well you focus that energy in morality, in relation to truth, that makes for the best. I love you. Please look at my other videos. Please look at transmutation.se. I am Christ consciousness, here on earth as to course correct from human misconduct, as to make for a world that's more loving. That's why I am here. That is my purpose. That is my destiny. My name is not Jesus. Jesus is a dead guy. Dead guys don't come back, because that was just a material body, a momentary appearance, just like your grandma or whatever, somebody who's not around anymore. Christ consciousness is who you are. Look at Christ as crystal, as in crystal clear consciousness. If you're clear about what is going on, who you are, what you are supposed to be doing, and you are brave enough to follow that, then you are embracing your authenticity, which is crystal Christ consciousness. If you even celebrate that, that's called Mass. So it's Christ Mass, Christ Mass, Christmas. That's where it comes from. Thank you. Transmutation.se. Peace.